Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now Eddie Hearn has been speaking about Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury and the possibility of where it could take place. Now, of course they are pushing towards this fight and he said that in the coming weeks it should be wrapped up, so they are almost there. Now considering that, the big stumbling block, or not stumbling block, but the big issue is where will the fight take place? England, UK has been ruled out I believe because they need 90,000 fans at Wembley if they were going to do that. That isn't going to be possible this year, I don't believe. So it won't happen in the UK. It could happen in Saudi. That is the front runner. There are other places like Dubai and Singapore that have come in, but at the moment it does seem most likely to go to Saudi because there is that relationship there. Because obviously Eddie Hearn has built bridges over there and they went there for Anthony Joshua versus Ruiz too. So that is the most likely for this fight to happen. Now of course there is still this situation with Deontay Wilder and Alexander Usyk. I think that as soon as Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder is sorted, that is when the WBO situation will be sorted, because I believe that AJ is not going to vacate a belt until he knows he's fighting at Tyson Fury, or come to some sort of arrangement. I think that that is actually most likely now, that they will find an agreement with Alexander Usyk where he will step aside and it will be for undisputed. So that is very positive. And what Anthony Joshua posted on his social media, he said that a great modern day fighter will be able to compete in any era. So obviously he believes that he needs to show that in the Tyson Fury fight, that he is of that level so that he could compete in any era. I think that the winner could have a shout to say that they could at least compete in any era. Not necessarily win, but still could compete. So considering that, I think that Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua will happen next, and not just because of that social media post, but because of the positive talks between the camps and what Anthony Joshua is saying and what Tyson Fury is saying. They want the fight next. There is no Tyson Fury doesn't want the fight. There is no Anthony Joshua doesn't want the fight. They want this fight to happen. That is why it is going to happen next. That is why they have gotten this far with negotiations, because remember when it was Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, they never even got close to this position. It's a lot different between these two. This fight will happen at some point. Whether it happens next, or whether it happens in the back end of the year, I believe this fight will still go ahead. Now, of course, I've heard many people saying they would rather Anthony Joshua fight his WBO mandatory than go and fight Tyson Fury, and I do hear those calls. I think that Alexander Usyk is a big fight, a very interesting fight that Anthony Joshua will be in as well, and he is a mandatory challenger, so he does deserve his opportunity. And he did step aside and fight Derek Chisora, so AJ could deal with his mandatories in chronological order, taking on Pulev first. So there is obviously a claim that Usyk should get his opportunity, but the thing is, if he does step aside, he's going to get a 7-figure package, and he'll have a fight in the interim against whoever he wants. It doesn't matter who it is. He can go and fight anyone. So in that respect, I do believe that Alexander Usyk does need to be respected, and I think that he needs to be looked after with regards to that 7-figure package, because there's a lot of money in this fight, so they can chuck him some money if they do want him to step aside. He has waited for his opportunity, so he's going to need to be paid so that he does miss it again, because this will be the second time that he has waited. So considering that, as long as Usyk is looked after, I mean, if AJ does have to fight Usyk next, then it's a great fight, but the one they are pushing towards is the Tyson Fury fight. That is the most important one at the moment because of what it can do for boxing, but not only that, to be considered as a great of this era, then they need to fight one another. That is what they need to do. Tyson Fury needs an Anthony Joshua fight, and Anthony Joshua needs a Tyson Fury fight. I think that Anthony Joshua's got a great resume. I think that Tyson Fury has also. I think that Fury, with the wins over Klitschko and Deontay Wilder, Derek Chisora in there as well, Steve Cunningham, world champion at cruiserweight, so I guess you can't really put him in there because his achievements did come in the cruiserweight division, not at heavyweight. I mean, you can't really list him under those kind of names as well, in company with Wilder and Klitschko, and even Derek Chisora really, considering what he done at heavyweight. But they do need that one big name. They both do kind of have it in Klitschko, but the name of one another, Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua, on the respected other's resume, is it the biggest name that they can get, and it does cement them in history for this era of heavyweight boxing. That is why this fight is so important, and that is why it would have been so great if they could have done it in the UK, but it doesn't seem possible, so they're going to have to take it somewhere else. And I think that we have to ask ourselves, do we want the fight to happen no matter what, or do we want the fight to just happen in the UK? I would rather see the fight just happen. I believe that perhaps both fighters were considering taking a pay cut to do it in the UK, but at the moment, with the current climate, that is not going to be possible. So if the fight is going to happen, it's going to go abroad. This fight needs a crowd. They cannot do this fight without a crowd, I don't believe anyway. I mean, behind closed doors, it doesn't really work for a fight of this magnitude. There's silence in between rounds, and even when they're fighting, do they put crowd noise on? No, that doesn't really work. There needs to be that kind of atmosphere that captivates you from this kind of fight. The opportunity to have fans there is one that cannot go missed in this fight. I don't believe anyway. Whether they do that in Singapore, whether they do that in Saudi Arabia, but still, it doesn't seem like there are many crowds gathering in those places either. So are they going to be able to do crowds in Saudi? Are they going to be able to do crowds in, say, Dubai? Maybe that's not even possible at the moment. So perhaps this will be a fight behind closed doors with a limited crowd, no matter where it goes. But can we expect anything different considering the current climate? I believe that no matter where this fight goes, it will be a limited crowd. No matter where it goes in the world, I don't expect a full 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. That's just not permissible given where the world is at the moment. It is not just something that is limited to the UK, but it is global, so it is affecting everyone. Considering that, I don't see crowds coming back anywhere, anytime this year, not in huge numbers anyway. So guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on the fight going abroad? I mean, we were hoping it was going to be in the UK, but that is not going to be possible considering the current predicament, so it does go somewhere else, perhaps Singapore, Dubai, Middle East. I mean, Saudi seems like the most plausible option at the moment. That is where I believe it will end up. So considering that, it will be likely May or June, then November, December being the rematch. They've agreed financial terms for 2 fights, so there will be 2 of them. And they do have to sort out where the fight will be, which shouldn't be a big problem because they are currently sorting that out. Eddie Hearn did explain that he is going around the world to separate countries looking where to host the fight. So that is currently being sorted. The mediation between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury is currently still going on, but I think that will reach a conclusion pretty soon. Then, the situation with the WBO and Alexander Usyk will be swiftly resolved. Anthony Joshua will find a way to get beyond that because he's already spoken to Alexander Usyk and reached out to his team. If not, then he's already said he will vacate. So this fight is getting closer and closer, and likely within the next couple of weeks will be more concrete compared to what it is now. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.